At just 10 years of age, I was placed third in the state for gymnastics. That's okay, right? But I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. The two girls who placed above me went to win medals at the Commonwealth Games. They won gold and silver. One even went to the Olympics. And I imagine that their victories were celebrated. Families cheering, coaches proud, and maybe their accomplishments met with joy. But in my world, success had a different rule. In my world, the rule was don't brag, don't show off, don't skite, don't invite resentment. So when I won, it wasn't mine to share. My mother was haunted by the shame of another woman's boastfulness, the neighbour who relentlessly bragged about her children ad nauseum. My mother took me home before the medal ceremony. My medal arrived in the mail, uncelebrated, undiscussed, and pretty much unclaimed. What I didn't realise was this. I internalised the silence. I swallowed the shame. I believed the lie that shining was dangerous. A boy had fractured my skull with a hammer for speaking up. I'd witnessed my father beating one of my brothers nearly to death for something or other. I learned that standing out was not for the weak and probably not for me. And then came the fall, literally. On a trampoline one afternoon, mid-flip, mid-back salt, I thought, why not try a double? And that split-second decision ended up in a fractured pelvis, cascading health problems and loss of my athletic identity. My life naturally, because of that, took a detour that I never asked for. One that would take decades to understand, to unpack, and let alone heal from. Unspoken shame can become identity. It can silence brilliance, but it can also be rewritten. Many of us carry a shame-based self-image from childhood experiences that we were not necessarily ever allowed to speak about. When praise is withheld, when success is met with silence, when failure feels safer than visibility, we don't just stop trying. We start believing we're only allowed to be invisible. And this isn't just my story. It's everyone's story who has ever downplayed their achievements to avoid judgment. It's the story of everyone who has hidden their talents so that others wouldn't feel insecure. For people who've avoided visibility because it didn't feel safe to shine. Like a gymnast who never got to stand on the podium, and many of us have been emotionally taken home early. Our victories arriving silently or not at all. But here's the truth. You're not your silence. You're not your shame. You're not your story. Neuroplasticity tells us that we can rewire what was once believed to be unchangeable, and that includes our identity. Think of your brain like a trampoline. Every time you practice a negative belief, such as I'm not good enough, I shouldn't speak up, or whatever it is for you, every time you practice a negative belief, you land in the same spot, and it gets deeper, it gets more ingrained, it strengthens those neural pathways so that they can become habitual. And to escape it, You don't just have to stop bouncing. You don't just have to stop thinking those negative thoughts. You have to change your landing point entirely. You have to aim for a new zone. Self-recognition, self-validation, self-celebration. Because only then can you override the old patterns with stronger, more empowering new ones. If you were to live your life over, what would you do differently? Who would you become? What would you reclaim? What stories would you stop hiding behind? What stories would you stop hiding behind? What parts of your brilliance would you no longer swallow? Would you no longer dim down? Grab a pen or your digital notes. Make a list. Begin rewriting your life. Write it down. And you know, I'm not just telling this story, right? I'm showing you a path that I have walked myself, from fractured identity, from fractured pelvis, fractured identity, fractured skull, and the rest, to empowered transformation. I've lived this journey. I've walked this path, and I've helped thousands to do the same. You can shed the shame and rewrite your identity, even decades later. Your body, your brain, and your spirit are ready for reinvention. So, how do you do it? Because you know I'm proactive, right? Step 1 is to identify the silence. Make a list of 5 moments where your light was dimmed. And ask yourself, what belief did I absorb? Step 2 is to name the override, to name your override. For each moment where your light was dimmed, for each moment where you dimmed your light, create a new declaration. I can speak. For example, my brilliance uplifts. It doesn't offend. My success lights the way for others. When I can, it shows others that they can. When I do, it shows others that they can do. And step 3 is to practice loudly. Every day, speak aloud, write it, move it. Let it become the new neural default for you. Put an end to constant self-sabotage. Put an end to the fear of being seen or of being heard. Put an end to the shame around success. Hello, Australia, New Zealand, and the British Isles. Put an end to a stalled sense of identity. Put an end to emotional trauma being locked in your body.